Hello everyone and welcome back to another Train Sim World route learning tutorial. This is for sort of the classic lines between obviously Gravesend and Faversham. We're in the 465 today. We're going to be calling at Strood, Rochester, Chatham, Gillingham, Rainham, Sittingbourne and Faversham. So we aren't stopping at Higham, Newington or Tenham, but I'll tell you when you should really start slowing down for those stations as well. We're going to do it in the recently released Class 465. Yes, I will list right now the speeds between Ebbsfleet International and Gravesend, as I know that's sort of part of the classic line as well. You'll see that on screen now, but we're going from Gravesend to Faversham. So let's get going. So we need to set up the 465, so put the master key to on, put that to forward, and open the doors up. And then you want to set the headlights to day running, or night, depends if it's past 7 o'clock. Set the safety systems to on, they're now on. And we are ready to depart when we're ready to go. So yeah, I'll see you all when we are ready to leave. Right, so we're now going to get the door shut here at Gravesend. So we have got a guard on board. We'll see two bleeps from the guard and 2 bleeps back from us. So we are ready to go. So the starting speed limit here is 30 miles an hour out of Gravesend. Stick it into notch 2 for a nice, comfortable move off of the station. And it'll be 30 miles an hour for not really that long. In fact, you can see the 50 board coming up now. It's just ahead, so it's not 30 for long. Only a couple of 100 meters. And it's around 6 miles, well 6.5 miles to our first stop, which is Strood. So we're now going to accelerate up to 50 miles an hour, obviously just waiting for the back of the train to pass the speedboard, which should now be alright. So we're now going up to 50 miles an hour, and it won't stay at 50 for long either. It will be going up to 70 miles an hour in around half a mile's time. So now curling our way out of Gravesend. Next sort of major sort of area will be Hoo Junction, which is in about 2 miles. Right, so we now got the 70 board, obviously 45 if you are a freight train, but 70 as we are a passenger service. Wait for the back of the train to pass it, and put it into full whack, and up we go to 70 miles an hour. And the speed limits are, I believe, the same if you are doing the opposite way as well, between Strood and Gravesend. Also, if you would like to see more route learning guides, do put it in the comments below. Also, do leave a thumbs up, so I know you do want to see more. And do let me know in the comments what you would like to see. Obviously, British routes is my kind of strong point, and especially the modern ones. Obviously, you will find if you look at the playlist, we have actually already done some tutorials for the East Coast way, so go and check them out. So we're just coasting along at 70 miles an hour at the moment, as we make our way along towards Hoo Junction. Obviously the speed will stay at 70 for a considerably long time until we get to Strood basically, where it then goes down to 15. So we're now approaching up to Hoo Junction, obviously the big freight yard, obviously the line off to the Isle of Grain. Obviously there's no stop here at Hoo Junction, we're just going straight through the yard basically. But we're going through at 70 miles an hour. And in fact you will see the speed limit in this section to the bottom right of your screen. So this is Who Junction. Obviously the braking points I will be mentioning on this service will be braking points for the 465. Obviously if you are in the Electro start or the Javelin, do brake slightly before I say to brake, as obviously we're in the 465, which has very good brakes and acceleration. So yeah, my braking points are the 465. If you're on the 375, do it just before. Around this corner is Rainham, so if you are stopping at, well, if you are a stopper at Rainham, which will be on the Rainham services, do start slowing down around now, maybe stick it into notch 1, as Rainham is just round this corner. Yeah, so stick the brakes on here about notch 1, notch 2. Actually get you down to a fairly comfortable speed for going through, well, for stopping at Rainham. Right, here we are now going through Rainham. And now we're going into the first of 2 tunnels. This is Rainham Tunnel. At 70 miles an hour through both tunnels, but it does go down to 15 coming into Strood. So it's fairly basic between Gravesend and Strood. There's the DSD going off. So we've got the safety systems on, obviously the driver safety device and the automatic warning system. Obviously the DSD only goes off if we haven't touched the controls for a certain amount of time, and obviously the AWS goes off where warning boards are and where cautionary signals are. And we've got the speed set off for this run as well. Right, coming into Strood Tunnel. Which I believe is around 2,000 metres long, so it's a fairly long tunnel. Little fact actually, these 2 tunnels actually used to be canal tunnels, and then they got obviously purchased by the London, Chatham and Dover Railway, I believe it was. So you get the AWS warning. You can see a 15 warning board there we just passed. If you're in the Electro start or the Javelin, start slowing down about now. But as we're in the 465, we can brake, you know, a bit closer. So we've already naturally come down to 60. I'm going to stick the brakes on now to about notch 1. I'm going to bring it to notch 2 now. Sort of go between 1 and 2, I suppose. But you want to be down to 15 miles an hour by that next signal you see it ahead of us. So the other portal of the tunnel. Right, down to 15. And as we come around this corner, we will be entering Strood Station. It's a fairly sharp corner round into Strood Station. And we're stopping right at the end of the platform here, which should be fairly easy because we're going at such a slow speed already. Obviously you can see we have got the feather signal there, obviously indicating we will be going to the left. Also we're coming off of this line here, the North Kent line. You can see the Medway Valley line straight ahead of us. And you can see the sort of bridge going over there. That is the Chatham main line there, obviously going up towards London Victoria. But we're going off to the left and joining up with the Chatham main line. So you bring it to a nice gentle stop here. That'll do. Let's get the doors open. So here we are at Strood. Our next station stop is Rochester. Now closing the doors here at Strood. It's not even a mile over to Rochester. So the starting speed limit is 15 miles an hour. As we depart from Strood, so not very quick out of here. So we're now making our way up onto the Chatham main line now. So that way goes down towards obviously Maidstone and down to I believe Tonbridge in the end. That's its ending point. And obviously then you've got the Chatham main line which goes up to London Victoria. We've got class 375 coming down here. Once you kind of think the back of the train has obviously passed, well, the points behind us, you can take it up to 20 miles an hour, which we are going to do now. You can see Rochester Castle there, and in a second you'll see Rochester Cathedral. So when out, you'll notice the signals do look a bit different now. So this is part of the Kent, well, I think it's the East Kent East Kent re-signalling programme. So we've now got the new LED signals as opposed to the old classic ones. So right, going over the River Medway. And the speed is 20, but it is going up to 30. We'll just wait for the back of the train to get on to the Chatham main line. You can see the submarine over there, that is a Russian one, I believe. Right, so we're now going up to 30 miles an hour. And we are now approaching Rochester. Obviously, Rochester does actually have two stations. Obviously, it has got, well, this is the new Rochester station. Obviously, we'll be going through the abandoned one when we make our way out of Rochester to go towards Chatham. And obviously, if you are going over to the Bay platform there, it is 25 miles an hour. It's only on a rare occasion you go into there. So the stop marker is really towards the end of the platform. It's sort of at the end of all the waiting shelters. You can see it now approaching now. That's the 4 to 8 car stop marker. A nice gentle stop here. Come between step 1 and 2 brakes. Here we are, this is Rochester, so our next station stop is Chatham. So we're now closing the doors here at Rochester. It's just over a mile to Chatham from here. Let's get going. So the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, and it will be 30 miles an hour until we clear Chatham Tunnel. So it's 30 miles an hour between Rochester and Chatham the full way. Obviously we're now coming up on the old Rochester station, obviously closed in 2015 I believe. Obviously that's when the new one opened up. So quite high up at this point, obviously going above Rochester. You can see the dockyards over there. And we're now coming up on Fort Pitt Tunnel, but it's 30 miles an hour all the way through, and then at the end of this tunnel is Chatham Station. So I believe we are actually going up an uphill gradient at the moment, so you do want to try and keep it as close as you can to 30 miles an hour through here. Obviously the timetables are fairly tight, but we're now coming into Chatham station. The stop marker is towards the end of the platform. You can see the PIS board there, it's just in line with that. I'm starting to slow down now. And one thing I have failed to mention, we actually do have the regen brakes off at this point for this service. Obviously, usually in modern day they do have the regen brakes off. Right, here we are at Chatham station. Right, now closing the doors here at Chatham. The next station stop is Gillingham. It's just over a mile. The stations are very close to each other and sort of the Chatham core, as I like to call it. Right, you can see Chatham Tunnel ahead. It's 30 miles an hour, but towards the end of this tunnel, it will actually go up to 50 miles an hour. We'll see that board in a second. So going up to 30 miles an hour. Right, so on this signal there is the 50 miles an hour board. So we'll wait for the back of the train to pass that, then we can go up to 50. And it will stay at 50 until we get into Gillingham Tunnel, where the speed actually does raise up to 60 miles an hour. Right, so I believe the back of the train now has cleared the speed board, so we're now going up to 50 miles an hour. Now we're veering around this corner here, and then we'll be going into Gillingham Tunnel. And at the entrance to Gillingham Tunnel there is the 60 miles an hour board. So we're now coming up to 50, there's the 60 there. So we'll coast that. Now we've got to wait. In fact, there was actually a coasting board there, obviously the white diamond board. So what we're going to do is we're literally just going to coast along now all the way to Gillingham. Gillingham is at basically the other side of this tunnel and just around the corner. But if you are fast through Gillingham, you can go up to 60. But for us there's really not much point, as Gillingham is just ahead. But we do seem to be losing a little bit of speed, so maybe do apply just a tad bit of power. Try and keep it at around 45-50. So now coming out of Gillingham Tunnel, it's just round this corner here, and we'll be coming into Gillingham Station. Obviously if you are terminating here, do bring it down to 15 miles an hour. Do start braking when you are in the tunnel if you are going across the crossover there into the terminating platform. But we want to enter the platform at around 35 miles an hour. And the stop board is towards the end of it. You'll see the forecast stop mark first, and then you'll see the R1. Here it is, the 6 to 8 car stop marker. Just going between step 1 and 2 brakes there. Here we are, this is Gillingham. The next station stop is going to be Rainham. Closing the doors here at Gillingham. And it's not too far along, it's just about a couple of miles over to Rainham. And top speed for this section will be 80 miles an hour. As parting a Gillingham station, the speed is 60 miles an hour at this point, but it will be raising to 80 as we get past Gillingham Depot. There's Gillingham level crossing. There's the 60 board there, although it still is 60. It's just basically reminding us. So once we do clear Gillingham depot, obviously all to the right there, it will then go up to 80 miles an hour. Or just past. Yeah, and it's only a couple of miles to Rainham. So this upcoming signal, just past it, will go up to 80 miles an hour. There you go, you can see the 80 board there. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick it full whack and just go for it. Got another 375 coming in. You'll see there is a coasting board there. I mean, we're only going at around 65, so we're going to speed up just a tad, up obviously to 75. And obviously, as we have got the speed set off, we can actually get above 75. I don't know if realistically they do go above 75, but in the game we can go above 75. So up to 75/80, and now we're just going to coast it. We've got this signal, then the next one, and it'll be Rainham. So if you're on the Electro Star, I recommend start putting it into brake. Well, start putting the brakes on once we get past this bridge here. In fact, put them on now if you're on the Electro Star. And even in the 465, we're going to start bringing it down slowly. Yeah, so start braking now for Rainham. So you want to enter the platform at 30 to 35 miles an hour. And it's 25 going across into platform 0. Right, this is Rainham. And the stop marker's right at the end of the platform. Right, this is Rainham. The next station stop after this will be Sittingbourne. And the doors here at Rainham, it's around 5 miles to Sittingbourne from here. Obviously in between Rainham and Sittingbourne you'll find Newington station. I'll tell you when you should start slowing down for that as well. So coming up round this corner will be the points off, or the junction off to the slow lines. You do need to be going at 60 miles an hour when you come off to the left. Obviously you'll come off to the left if you are going to be stopping at Newington. Also we're going on the fast through lines. But yeah, 60 miles an hour if you're going left there, and it goes back up to 80. And you can even see the 80 board there. And our speed is 80 as well. Yes, and I do believe if you are doing a 465 service, you won't. Well, if you are driving the 465, I don't think you'll ever be stopping at Newington or Tenham, at least in the timetable mode. It's just the 375. But if you are in the 375, I would start slowing for Newington about now. Stick it into step 1 or 2 brakes. You can see Newington just ahead now around the corner. Maybe even slow down a little bit beforehand. And the speed for us is going to come down to 70 miles an hour. Just past Newington station it will drop down. Here's Newington here. That's 40 miles an hour if you're joining back up from the slow line there. There's a 70 board for us. Got a couple of whistle boards. There's another one just round here as well. And the speed will increase once we're sort of out of this sort of curly bit. We can now get a bit more speed on us, so we've gone at 70 at the moment. So we can now go up to 80 miles an hour, which is the back of the train. Should have cleared it now. So let's get up to 80. And we'll start slowing down to Sittingbourne, well, for Sittingbourne, once we see the line off to Sheerness. So you can see this upcoming signal does have a feather indicator on it. Obviously it's not illuminated, but that is for the Sheerness branch, obviously going up to the Isle of Sheppey. And that is my indicator to start slowing down for Sittingbourne. In fact, you see that upcoming bridge going across, we'll start slowing down there. Obviously if you're on the 375, do exactly the same. I'll stick it into step 1. And if you're on the Electro Star, probably stick it into notch 2 or 3. Probably notch 2. And if you are going into the bay platform here at Sittingbourne, you do need to be going at 15 miles an hour. We're going to enter the platform at around 30 miles an hour. Let's put it into notch 2. And you'll find the stop marker just after the sort of new footbridge. Right here, this is Sittingbourne. You can see the stop marker coming up there. Just a little bit past the new bridge. Here we are, this is Sittingbourne. Our next station stop will be Faversham. Right now closing the doors here at Sittingbourne. It's around 7 miles to Faversham from here. Obviously the station in between is Tenham. And we are away. So the speed limit at the moment is still 80 miles an hour. But on this section we can actually get up to 90, that's the top speed, but that's a bit closer to Faversham. Yeah, so it's 80 miles an hour at the moment. Got a javelin there. Let's get going. So from here to Tenham it's around 3 miles, but I'll tell you when to start slowing down for Tenham. It's just 80 at the moment, and obviously the speed will be increasing fairly shortly. Almost at 80 now. You can see the coasting board there for Tenham. Bit of braking on there. Seems to be going some the downhill gradient. So we are picking up a bit of speed. Sort of just going between power 1 and sort of brake 1, just sort of keeping our speed where it is at the moment. And if you are going to be stopping at Tenham, I would consider starting to slowly slow down now, probably put it into step 1 braking. If you want a nice comfortable stop. And then put it into step 2. Yeah, by this point, if you're stopping at Tenham, you probably want to be at around 50 miles an hour or so. It's just upcoming here. And the stop marker at Tenham is at the end of the platform. Obviously we're not stopping there. And we have got an 85 limit coming up shortly. There's the 85 board there. Let's get up to 85, and the next speed increase will be up to 90 miles an hour. Although that's only for about half a mile, so it's not very, it's a bit pointless. So as we go over this level crossing, you'll see the speed board for the 90. Well, the max speed of this goes up to 86, so we can't actually get up to 90. Even if you're on the Electra side of the Javelin, there's not really any point going up to 90. If I were you, I'd just keep it at 85 for now. But the speed will be coming down to 75, just past this tree line coming up here. So if you're on the Electra Star, I recommend coming down to 75 about now, put it into step 1 brakes. I'll start putting it on now. You'll see this upcoming bridge here, you'll see the 75 board just after that. And we've got a couple of whistle boards and also the warning for the 60. There's a 75 board there. As we got cautionary signals as we are coming into Faversham, and also because we had the warning board there for the 60. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start slowing down for the 60 mile an hour limit. Now comfortably down to 60 in time for the limit. And I believe the service comes into the through platforms at Faversham, so we can come in at 30 miles an hour. Obviously, if your service is going to be going into the bay platform at Faversham, you need to be down to 15 miles an hour when you enter the platform. And it does seem I was actually wrong. It does seem like we are coming into the bay platform here. So we do need to be down to 15 miles an hour upon entry into the station. It does variate which comes into here. Some of the services, like the one after this, which goes this way, does come into the through line platform 3, but we're coming into platform 4. So we do need to be down to 15 miles an hour. You can see the board coming up here. Which is fairly slow into here. And we're right to the end of the platform here at Faversham, to the 7 to 12 car stop marker. Winding our way in. It's got the AWS going because of the red light at the end of the platform. You can see the stop marker coming up there on the right, which is fairly easy to see when you're in the 465, as you can simply just look across. But if you are on the 375, it can be a bit tricky to see at times. But here we are, this is Faversham. And that does conclude today's route learning tutorial. Obviously, hopefully everyone has enjoyed it, hopefully it has helped out. Obviously, do pop in the comments below which ones you do want to see as well. Obviously, do you want to see going back the other way, or see it in the 375, or even the 395, or even for any other sort of British routes, not Tees Valley or Northern Transpanel. I'm not completely confident with them, but any others, do let me know. But that is going to be it. Thanks all for coming in. You will find a link in the description to the Discord server and to the PayPal if you do want to help support the channel. Obviously, if you are watching within the first release, sort of month or so, do check out our limited edition F7 tops. You'll see them on screen now. Obviously, 10% off using the discount code CR10 until the 18th of March. And you also see all the other merch on screen now. But that is going to be it, everyone. Hopefully I did help you out, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone, and take care.